What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Coach Ryan from Existence, and I have a very important public service announcement today. I want to talk to you about a no bullshit approach to fat loss and kind of weight loss in general. And you may or may not know this, but we're living in a very interesting and potentially dangerous time. And what I mean by that is the internet. All right? Long ago, in the early days of social media, Facebook and Instagram, the only people that were really putting out information were qualified health professionals, whether that was strength and conditioning coaches, physical therapists, chiropractors, physicians, naturopathic doctors, but people that had been in the industry and were really relying on not just their own personal experience, but also science. And now, anybody with a social media account can become an influencer, all right? Depending on who you follow, all right, if something catches your eye, next thing you know, you're following some qualified fitness professional that's telling you to do coffee enemas and sit outside and sun your butthole. All right? That's actually a thing. So, it's an interesting world out there. All right? So what I hope to do today is cut through a little bit of that bullshit, and I just want to explain how fat loss works. All right, from a very simplistic perspective, okay? Specifically, when it comes to carbohydrates. So there's a big question out there in the fitness world: if I want to lose fat, do I need to cut carbs? Right? With the amount of keto diets and keto pills and intermittent fasting and all the other buzzwords out there, all right? Every one of these things works for some people, right? Everything works, nothing works forever, and there's not one blanketed approach. That being said, if you want to lose weight, specifically fat, all right, if you want to decrease your mass, right? If you weigh 200 pounds and you want to get down to 150, or you weigh 150 and you want to get to 135, there has to be some sort of deficit, right? And what that means is you either have to eat less than what you burn, or burn more than what you eat. It's pretty much saying the same thing. Now, it's not quite as simple as that. It's not exactly calories in, calories out, but it also is. Stay with me, all right? So, if I cut carbohydrates out of my diet for 2 weeks, talking 10 grams or less, right? If I just go pure fat and protein, fiber, water, if I cut out all carbohydrates out of my diet, I will probably lose anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds. So typically when someone goes keto, for instance, they start doing a ketogenic diet, what they're really doing is decreasing their carbohydrates. You're gonna see a 5 to 10 pound loss within those first couple weeks to a month. Why? Well, 2 reasons. One, for every 1 gram of carbohydrate, there's about 3 to 4 grams of water that are stored. So you may notice if you decrease your carbohydrates, you're gonna start peeing a lot more, all right? The keto pee, some people call it, all right? So when you decrease your carbohydrates, the amount of stored carbohydrates, or glycogen, as we like to call it, just won't hold on to as much water. So that initial weight loss is typically caused by water loss, all right? Another reason that may happen is that you actually decreased how much you were eating. For instance, if you're eating 2 sandwiches for lunch every day, that's 4 slices of bread, and each slice of bread maybe has 100 calories. Let's say you're eating a turkey sandwich, turkey and cheese sandwich. If you take the bread away, and let's say that was the only carbohydrate in your diet, if you take that bread away, you've essentially taken out 400 calories out of your day. So if you continue walking to work, continue walking around your job, continue exercising, continue eating the exact same amount, what you've done is created a 400 calorie deficit. Well, a 400 calorie deficit over 365 days, if you continue to do everything else the same, is about 42 pounds. All right? So if you wanted to lose about 40 pounds in a year, you could do something as simple if you were already eating 2 sandwiches, is just take that bread away. Now, technically, you would have cut carbohydrates, but what you really did was cut calories. If you're drinking 400 calories of milk every day and you take that out, it would do the same thing. Now, let's say you don't want to change your diet at all. Matter of fact, you love carbohydrates and you're trying to figure out how to keep them in. Well, you absolutely can. All right? Plenty of people have lost hundreds of pounds by not cutting out carbohydrates. It works better for some and not for others. And it depends on a lot of things. What I'm going to talk about is two things. One, how to decrease your calories by cutting out a carbohydrate or something. If you're taking 4 slices of bread every day out of your diet, doing everything else the same, you should expect somewhere around 40 pounds of weight loss over that year. All right? Now, it's not quite as simple as that, but for our purposes here today, it is. Now, let's say you continue eating exactly what you're eating right now, but you add 30 minutes of walking, maybe a brisk walk around the block. Now, depending on how much you weigh, your caloric expenditure is going to be different. All right? So, on average, Google it, a 30-minute walk will burn about 150 calories. So let's say you do a 30-minute walk in the morning, 30-minute walk at night. Well, you've just increased your caloric expenditure by 300 calories. 300 times 365 days is about 31 pounds. So when you hear people that just say, yeah, I just started walking, I just started parking further away, I just got a bicycle and I started riding to work every day. They didn't change anything in their diet, all right? All they did was change their caloric expenditure, all right? So 2 fairly simplistic ways to lose 30, 40 pounds in a year. Unfortunately, what I see as a strength coach is people jumping on fads, right? Jumping on a fad that is just not sustainable. Now, some people, for health-related issues, may thrive on a ketogenic diet, and maybe carbohydrates is just not in their wheelhouse. But for the general population, you don't necessarily need to cut those things out. There's a whole extra piece of this that I haven't talked about yet, and that's protein. But today, all I really want to do is talk about how carbs are not necessarily the devil. All right? Caloric expenditure, less caloric intake, plenty of ways that you can successfully lose some weight, lose some fat, stop sun in your buttholes, and stop doing coffee enemas. All right? Be careful who you follow. Thanks for watching.